is a cool, crisp, early September morning here in New Hampshire. The beautiful mist coming out off of the marsh out in the distance, and the sun's rising over here. It's just a beautiful morning. I thought, what better thing to do than to go do some wildlife photography. So that's what I'm going to spend the next couple of days doing, and I thought I'd bring you all along with me. So I'm starting in one of my favorite places in Tuftonboro, New Hampshire, called Copps Pond Wildlife Management Area, Preserve, something like that. And Copps Pond is it's mostly a wetland right now, marshland, because we've had such a drought here in New Hampshire, but it is a place known for birds, certainly during the summer, but during the migration periods. But I've spent a lot of time out here, and I've seen several times I've seen bear, I've seen deer a lot, coyote, otters, foxes. So there's a lot of wildlife in this area. And so I thought I'd start our wildlife adventure here this morning. So yeah, it's a beautiful morning, beautiful place to be, and just really happy to be out here. So let's talk about photographing birds as the first sort of genre of wildlife photography I'm going to be doing here. What I'm going to be looking for are like the following target species: egrets, herons, eagles, maybe falcons, certainly some hawks. If I get lucky, we might have an owl, but I think those other ones are pretty much what we're going to be looking for here over the next couple of days. There's going to be a couple of things that I'm going to be looking for. Certain behaviors like feeding, that's for sure. We're well past mating season, so we won't see any of that behavior. But we should see some hunting, some foraging, and so I'll try to photograph those moments. But the other thing that I like to do with my birds is to tell the larger story by keeping the bird smaller in the frame. So I'm not just photographing the bird, but I'm also photographing the bird in its environment. So it's going to include, say, the marshy area or the woods that it's in, whatever the case might be, so that we're not just photographing the bird, but we're photographing the bird in its larger area, telling the larger story about the bird and its environment. So that's what I'll be trying to do here over the next couple of days. Out here right now, we have a couple of herons, we have a couple of egrets, and so I've been photographing those a little bit. So one of the untold truths about wildlife photography is that there's a lot of sitting around and waiting. The animals don't show up when you want them to. They don't know you're here waiting to take their picture. And so oftentimes it's just to sit and wait, and you make your best educated guesses, like, where has wildlife been seen? What is the right environment for them? So on and so forth. But it is a waiting game quite a bit. And that's what we're doing here. Still have a couple of herons and egrets, but they're way, way out in the marsh right now, and they're probably too far away to photograph. Did have a peregrine falcon that flew by, but it was very, very quick. And so it's just a little bit of a sitting and waiting game at this point, and that's about where I am. And but having said that, that's sometimes where the best encounters happen, where you're just kind of sitting and, oh, I can see the peregrine falcon again. Let's see if it lands. Yet another flyby by the peregrine. One of the things I don't think people really understand is that peregrine falcons are not big birds. And so when they fly, well, A, they're very fast, of course, but B, they got to be pretty close to you in order to photograph them. So this guy was probably, 150 yards out in the marsh. So I don't think, got a little bit of video footage, but not able to photograph. Just had a juvenile eagle fly in and harass the herons and egrets that were over on the other side. So got some great footage of it. It's still pretty far out there. It's probably 150 yards out, but just landed on a rock, and so hopefully it'll continue to be active out here. But this is the type of thing. Now, this is a pretty young eagle. I would say this is a first year. He just took off, and he's going off in the opposite direction from me. But he looks like a very young eagle, might even be his first year. And now he's flying off back towards the woods. But yeah, we had some great action there with the eagle and the herons and egrets kind of fighting it out a little bit. Well, we've got looks like 2 doe and a fawn over on the other side of Copp's Pond from us right now. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Not really that photographable because it is kind of far away. But got some good video footage of it nonetheless. So. Yeah, nice reflection on the water too over there. Just really, really far. But always great to see. Okay, well, after about an hour and a half there, here at Copp's, I'm going to pack up. I'm going to head to another location that's not too far away and see what we have for wildlife there. That'll probably bring us to the end of this morning's excursions, only because it's starting to get a little bit late in the morning and the sun's starting to get a little bit too high. So we're going to head out and we'll check that other location and then head back to the house, do a little bit of work, and then set out tonight. Relocated to the Thompson Wildlife Management Area. It's one of New Hampshire Audubon's maintained areas, I guess. And this merlin has been flying around the marsh, catching dragonflies and eating them. So got a couple of images and some footage of them doing that. So this is actually a pretty cool sighting for me. The merlin is a falcon. It's similar to a peregrine, just a little bit smaller, and yeah, to catch one actively feeding like this is really cool. The last I saw, it dove down into the marsh, probably down low into a bush, probably eating something, and so we'll see if it comes back out and emerges again. But really cool bird, really like all falcons, got those long pointy wings, straight tail, and is built for speed and for agility. So these things really are pretty cool to watch fly. So this Thompson Wildlife Management Area is one of my favorite places to come. It has this boardwalk that kind of stretches out over a marsh, maybe 50 yards or so, and then that's after about a 200-yard walk through the woods. And so you have this beautiful transition from the woods into this marshy area, and as a result, you have a lot of variety of species, especially in the springtime. You get a ton of birds, a ton of warblers, but there's also owls and hawks, and as we've seen today, some falcons as well. It's a great place for herons. In the spring, we have bitterns here that nest nearby, and then also this has been a known area for both bears and moose. I've seen twice. I've seen both bears and moose here. In fact, one of my favorite all-time images of a bear was taken just down at the end of this platform, and so this is a special place for me to come to. It's getting a little bit long in the morning in terms of it's I think almost 9:45. The sun's getting pretty high. It's pretty hot, so things are not great photographically right now and light-wise. So I'm going to head back to the house. Going to do a little bit of work, hopefully get a run in, and then later on we're going to jump back in the car and we're going to head back up north. We're going to go further north in New Hampshire and see what wildlife might be up there. So, all right, stay tuned. after a morning photographing down in the Lakes region, where we saw some eagles and herons and egrets, falcons. I'm now headed north to the northern part of New Hampshire into what's called Coos County. Coos County is the largest of New Hampshire's 10 counties, but it's the least populated. It's kind of 2 or 3 hours north of sort of the populated parts of New Hampshire. I think if New Hampshire has maybe 1 million residents, more than half have to live in southern New Hampshire. Probably 3/4 live in southern New Hampshire, and a lot fewer live up in the northern area where I'm going up to. So right now I'm going through what's called Pinkham Notch. Mount Washington is just to my left. For those of you that are familiar with New England and the area, Mount Washington is the largest peak in the Northeast at a little over 6,200 feet, something like that. And it is part of the Northern Presidential Range here in New Hampshire. So. Now, what might be the most difficult part of this whole thing is being patient enough for your animals to arrive. All you can do is put yourself in the right spot, areas you know that they have been to before, and hope that they show up. This is a small little pond north of Errol in, as I mentioned earlier, Coos County. There's nothing around here. A lot of wetlands over there, perfect moose country, eagles, maybe bears, I don't know, but yeah, we're in the exact spot where these animals come to, and so now it's just a matter of hopefully being patient enough to wait for them. So earlier today, we were down at the down the Lakes region, and I said that we had a northern harrier, but he had dodged into the woods before I got a chance to get any footage of him. And now we're up here north, we got another northern harrier, and this guy is flying all over the place. So the northern harrier is an incredible bird to shoot. I've got a lot of images of them, a lot of footage of them flying. They are acrobats of the sky. They fly low to the ground as they hunt for voles and mice. Looks like this is what this guy's doing right now. And so to have one here is actually pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about this. All right, our harrier is back. He is hunting along the edge. Oh, we almost dove. Yeah, he's hunting along the edge here looking for voles and small, maybe some frogs and whatnot, right on the edge of the water. So we're going to see if we can get him hunting, catching something. These guys are real acrobats in the sky, though. They have these long tails, long wings, and they can turn on a dime. They hunt really close to the ground. So they're a blast to shoot. So I'm not sure what he's hunting for, but it's definitely hunting for something. Maybe some frogs, maybe something on the edge of the water, whatever it is, definitely hunting. And, oh, hold on a second. Yep. So he's over on the other side over here now. Or maybe it's the second one, I don't know. But I can see the wing beats. And let me get some footage of this guy. Yep. I think he's got some. Oh, yeah, no, he's flying. He's got something. And now he flew back into the woods to eat. So after a long day of driving yesterday, I have to admit I was kind of a bit frustrated, I guess. I spent a lot of time yesterday out looking for wildlife and driving from the southern part of the state to the northern part of the state, then back down to the lakes region. And really felt like, as I kind of got into bed last night, I was like, oh man, what a long day. And then I got to thinking about it a little bit. There was two things that really struck me. One, I did see an eagle. I saw eagles, falcons, herons, egrets, harriers. So that's a pretty good, assortment of birds I was able to photograph and get footage of yesterday. So that's good. And then, the other thing was I got to spend the whole day out doing this, which was pretty awesome as well. So yeah, a little bit frustrated that we weren't able to find some great wildlife to photograph and to shoot, but still very grateful to have the day out and doing this work. So that was awesome. So today we have a different falcon. We have a kestrel that's up in the treetops here, being harassed and kind of bullied by some blue jays, which I talked about yesterday. Blue jays are a great species if you want to get tipped off to something in the area, because they tend to be loud and pester these things until they leave. So this kestrel, which is flying around, eating insects, I'm sure, eating probably dragonflies and those types of things, flying around up here in the treetops, and these blue jays are kind of chasing around. So I'm going to see if I can get hopefully get an image and some footage of this kestrel as it flies around and is kind of harassed by these blue jays. So let's go take a look. I've been watching the kestrel, and I think there are 3 blue jays up in the trees over there. And unfortunately, they're up in these trees over here, which is all, there's just a lot of clutter in there, and I really have a difficult time getting footage and photographing. It'd be nice if they were land over here to my left, a little more wide open, or far to my right, a little more wide open. Right now, they're kind of in the middle of the woods, which I can see them, but it's tough to photograph, tough to film. So just a matter of me trying to be patient. Oh, he's out now. He finally came out, so he's out on top of a branch over there. Now the kestrel almost always lands at the top of the tree, whereas the blue jays are going to land within the tree somewhere. So that's one of the easy ways to tell them apart when you see them first land. Now, one of the things you notice here is it's sitting up on top of that tree right there, is that we got just a basically white, cloudy sky behind. And so everything is shooting in silhouette. So in order to post-process this, I'm going to have to really open up the shadows quite a bit, and I'm going to end up with a high key image at the end. Here goes the blue jay. It's going to go over and harass it, so he's probably going to leave here. Yeah, so now two blue jays that just landed. Oh, no, now they just flew away. Kestrel's now flying out over the marsh. So those blue jays, they come over, they harass it, and I try not to honestly shoot up into the sky a whole lot. I like to shoot my birds when they're eye level with me. In the case of the kestrel we just had, it was up on, they landed on top of treetops. I don't really have much of a choice there, and so it was high up in the trees, so we got some footage and got some images of them high in the trees. But also what that means is that the backdrop for those Kestrel shots are these high white clouds, and so they were just silhouetted. Anytime you shoot, really anytime you shoot up towards the sky, you're gonna have a silhouetted bird. So what that means is, in post-processing, I'm gonna end up having to overexpose the sky in order to get the bird exposed properly, which means ultimately I'm probably gonna end up with a sort of high key image in the end. So it can still be really nice. I'm just not gonna get any detail in the background. So great news, our Kestrel is back, and even better news, it's at about eye level with me, a little higher than eye level, but out in the marsh, sitting on top of a tree, and it's its backdrop are trees that are even further away. So what that gives me is a nice background for me to be able to photograph this Kestrel and not have it be overexposed in the end. The background meaning like not blown out. So it's going to, now it's really going to be small on top of this tree. So this is the, what I've talked about in the past, which is small bird, big stories, but pretty decent picture. And, I think this is going to be one of those keepers I'm able to, at the end of these 2 days, this is going to be one of those that I think I'm going to want to keep in the end. Well, after a day and a half out in the field, I certainly got some images I think I'm going to be able to do some work with back at the house. So now it's time to go back. We upload it on the computer or download them on the computer. We see what we see and we work with. I think we definitely got a harrier image yesterday. Definitely got Merlin yesterday. Kestrel perhaps today. Heron and the eagle from yesterday morning. So there's some images there. It's a matter of going back now, downloading them on the computer and working with them. Now, would it have been great if we had a moose or a bear? Of course, right? But that's the beauty of wildlife photography. You just never know what you're going to get. You don't have control over where the animals are or what the conditions are. You just got to make the best of what it is that you have while you're out there. And so yeah, it's time to go back, take a look, see what we got, and process those. So, all right, let's go do that.